Do you have trees not growing well? Do you have plants not growing well? And thank you very much. That's beautiful. Planting is one of the ways you start to protect the environment.
Welcome back from that short break. I'm sure you saw the clips of we inaugurating green squads in schools in the FCT. And what's the whole idea of that? We're trying to raise more eco-conscious teenagers, give them the charge to be responsible towards the environment at this age. Imagine at this age, starting now. Of course, it means that there's good news for a country like ours. Now, right before we went on the break, we're talking about the support we can actually render to schools and, of course, youth-led organizations, eco clubs. Now, I'll break it down. When it has to do with lending support, looking at areas like mentorship, guidance, youth have vision, but adults have the experience. The two must work hand in hand. Mentorship doesn't mean taking over. It means working beside them, offering technical advice, strategic direction, emotional support when things don't go as planned. Imagine if every secondary school eco club had a monthly call with a waste management expert, a city environmental official, or even a social impact entrepreneur. Imagine the ideas that would be refined, the mistakes that would be avoided, and the confidence that would be built. This is how you multiply impact, not by telling youth what to do, but by equipping them to do it better, faster, and stronger. Funding. Small amounts, big impact. It doesn't really matter how much it is. Like I've announced already, the By Directly initiative has $1,000 up for grabs. That's not a lot of money to some people, but guess what? That is some very encouraging amounts for someone who has an idea to transform plastic to waste. Sorry, from plastic to wealth, from being innovative with plastic. $1,000. It's something encouraging. So small amounts, big impact, that's one of the biggest ways to actually, encourage these people. And I mean, not the big millions. No, you just have to have little enough to get started. With as little as even 50,000, for example, you can decide to buy waste bins for a community drive. You might want to print flyers or a signage for school campaigns. You might want to host a plastic-free picnic to raise awareness. You might also even have a prototype, a low-cost biodegradable packaging alternative. That kind of thing. Micro grants, crowdfunding, platforms, school competitions, and even corporate CSR seed funds. These can be lifelines for young innovators. Let's remember that lack of funds should never be the reason a great idea dies. Absolutely. So when you have the chance, by all means, fund this project. Platforms. Not just all have a seat in the table. No, a voice at the table as well. You can be invited to the table and not have the ability or the permission to speak. We must move youth from the sidelines to the center of the conversations. Too often, we invite youth to observe, to attend workshops, to sit quietly through panels, but youth have lived experiences, especially when it comes to plastic pollution. They are the ones whose schools flood. Come on, they experience flooding, they experience blocked drainages, they walk past mounds of plastic waste on their way back from school. They have their communities that actually burn waste when collection fails. And so, their perspectives can be very valid, urgent, and strategic. So it's good that we learn to listen to them. Now, we have to also invite them to pitch solutions to local government and recycling companies. Yes, feature their work on mainstream media. Include them as panelists, not just participants at climate and sustainability events. No, invite them over. Very soon on this platform, we will have young people speaking with me, sitting with me here and speaking. We can't wait to have them, And by offering platforms, we amplify their voice, we build their confidence, and challenge power structures that often exclude youth, especially girls, and youth from rural or marginalized backgrounds. Yes. Recognition. Celebrate progress, not just perfection. Recognition is not just a reward, it's a motivator. When young people are acknowledged for their work through certificates, shout outs, I mean, press coverages or even small trophies. It tells them what they are doing, you know, and you know, it shows that someone actually believes in them. So I mean, we have to encourage consistency, attract new volunteers, build social capital. You know, for instance, the Climate Hub public leaderboard showcases top performing clubs. You know, that one of the things that Climate Hub wants to do is from time to time we'll showcase, you know, the top performing clubs in terms of the Green Squad we have inaugurated. And it's about honoring dedication and encouraging innovation. You know, so we should normalize saying well done to young environmental leaders. You know, and youth are the spark. But if we want the flame to grow into a wildfire of change, we as adults, educators, policymakers, and business leaders must fuel the fire. We must guide the direction, we must give them the air, and celebrate the warmth they generate. Because this is not just their fight, it is our shared future, and let's not forget the role of teachers. In several schools I visited, it was the single teacher's passion that sparked a whole school's green revolution. So I mean, this week's tip is not different from others. We have to keep organizing waste audits as much as possible. Choose a day, you know, keep track of every piece of plastic in your household, in your classroom. You know, categorize your waste disposal system. Categorize it properly, you know, and you'll be surprised what you will find. And once you know, you can change. That's what happens. You'll be surprised at what you know you can change. So let me leave you with this. Plastic is not just an environmental issue. It's a justice issue. It affects our health, our schools, our economy, and our future. Teens are not too young to lead. They are leading, but their leadership needs to be seen, supported, and sustained. So, I mean, today's episode is about the voices that matter. You don't need million followers to start. You just have to have a reason. And of course, the earth is giving us so much to do. Let's see how we can save the earth. Let's fund. Let's be open, you know, with our innovations. Let's be open to receiving ideas. Because when youth rise, society rises with them. You believe it with Sustainability Pulse with a by day, and don't forget to follow us on our social media handles. Don't forget to tune in every Mondays and Wednesdays where we speak sustainably. Until then, live consciously, speak boldly, and keep pulsing for the planet. You save the planet, you save the health, you save your life. Do not forget, living sustainably means living responsibly. All the very best to the next episode.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of Aso Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, Aso Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel
the welfare of millions of people for generations to come may be affected by the wisdom which we here display. If Nigerian leaders and our British partners are to prove themselves worthy of their trust, now is the time for us solemnly and truly to dedicate ourselves to seeking the greatest good of the greatest number of our people in Nigeria. Independence for Nigeria in 1960 is imperative. But independence for Nigeria as a corporate entity is not enough. The peoples of Nigeria must at the same time be guaranteed their freedom. We must ensure that in an independent Nigeria, individual citizens throughout the land enjoy liberty, human dignity, and equality under the law. There must be one Nigeria with one constitution and one law for all. Let us therefore, Mr. Chairman, sir, close our ears to the counsel of despair, which says that we cannot here at this conference agree on a constitution. If there's any doubt among us as to what should be written into the constitution, let us, as Democrats that we profess ourselves to be, refer such problems, as the goal has done recently, to the people whom we profess to represent, either just before or at the federal elections late in 1959.
In the heart of our fields lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions. From the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe, agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 9:30 a.m. Monday to Fridays on Aso TV, channel 392 DSTV, Star Times, channel 127, or YouTube live stream, GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future.
Our first efforts at democracy and self-government were abruptly arrested in the mid-60s, largely as a result of the incongenial atmosphere engendered by the uncompromising stance adopted by the political parties of the First Republic. Thus, opportunities were lost for our people to interact and learn to accommodate different points of view for the betterment of the country. We must not allow that episode to repeat itself. The new system that we have adopted presents us with yet another opportunity to achieve national integration, which is a prerequisite for the building of a strong and virile nation.
As a free state in 20th century Africa is the need to revive the stature of man in Africa and restore the dignity of man in the world. Nigerians believe passionately in the fundamental human rights. We regard all races of the human family as equal. Under no circumstance shall we accept the idea that the black race is inferior to any other race. I appeal to all our leaders, far and near, to forget the wounds which were inflicted in cause of our internecine altercations. The love of our country should outweigh the love of our petty selves. The enjoyment of individual freedom under the law should mean more to us than our self-centered party programs and manifestos. Common dangers and common enemies alert us on the need for common security. Come and join Abubakar with me, Sadauna, Awolowo, Akitola, Ofarebe, Okpara, Ikoku, Aminu Kano, Ibrahim Imam, and Taka. Let us bind the nation's wound and let us heal the breaches of the past so that in forging our nation, there shall emerge on this continent a hate-free, fear.
In the heart of our fields lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions. From the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe, agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 9:30 a.m. Monday to Fridays on Aso TV, channel 392 DSTV, Star Times, channel 127, or YouTube live stream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greener solutions. Together, let's grow the future. In the heart of our
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow. We are here. Remember, we promote smart solutions to ensure greener harvest. And my name is Daniel Black. As always, I'm your host. This is a Media for Agricultural Development project of GSAI, Growth for Sustainable Agriculture initiative. We use this media platform to ensure that the proper education, the proper information around agriculture, sustainable agriculture, is disseminated and it gets to the right ears. It's been a beautiful week, new week that we are here, and things are already moving in the right direction. We are having rains at the right time, of course, in some locations, and farmers are all about it, going into farms. And yes, we need to use this time to also commiserate with fellow farmers and indigenes in Benue State who recently faced a header crisis. We are very, very hopeful and optimistic that security forces and indeed the government will do a whole lot to ensure that these crises are brought to a lasting and sustainable end. Because Benue State, as we know from time back, has been known to be the food basket of the nation, and we cannot be joking with Benue State in terms of food production. This is the rainy season. This is the time when farmers should be in the farm. This is the time when farmers should be tilling the ground, planting the crops, and tending to the farms. But as we can see, for the past, I think, almost a month now, at different instances, and most recently, just last week, there was another crisis, and there is instability in Benue State, in that community in Benue State. If I remember the name of that particular community, and a whole lot of other communities around Benue State, this has not allowed the farmers to settle down and be able to cultivate. And I wonder what will happen next year when it is time for us to harvest, towards October, November, December of this year, when it is time for us to harvest. And of course, what will happen to the prices of yams for the few people that have been able to plant in other parts of the country. I really commiserate. We all at GSAI and Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow TV show commiserate with the general indigenes of Benue State, and of course the farmers who have been displaced and are unable to carry out their practice. We sincerely call on government, call on security agencies to do all it takes to bring that crisis to a very lasting end. Today we will be talking about the role of technology in transforming agriculture in Nigeria. This topic is quite crucial and quite apt because farmers are going into the farm right now, and the more farmers begin to incorporate technology into their farming practice, the more we will be seeing more qualitative and more quantitative harvest. We'll be seeing more harvest, and farmers will be smiling home with better yield, better income, increased livelihood, and of course increased economic value. So today we want to encourage farmers, as you go to your field, try from 1, 2, 3, try to incorporate technology into your farming practices. You may not start from the big machines, you may not start from the big robotics and all of that, but there are small steps, small activities you can begin to incorporate, small technological advances you can begin to incorporate into your farming practices that will begin to give you the openings, that will begin to give you the insights into the benefits you can get from agriculture, from technology in agriculture. So we'll just highlight some benefits, and once we highlight these benefits, we will now go into these technological advances. So first among the benefits or you have is increased productivity. I cannot say this enough. Increased productivity is a direct benefit of incorporating technology into your farm. Most of you that have used tractors would know that the amount of work a tractor does in a daytime is different from the amount of work no matter how many laborers you bring into the field. If you carry the amount of money you're spending on a tractor to use and get labor, they will not achieve the same level of work. They will not achieve the same quality of work, both the quality and the quantity of work. A tractor can plow and can till over 5 hectares of land in one day, but the labor you would need to plant and till 5 hectares of land in that day, the money you would spend to even achieve 5 hectares of land in one day may be triple, if not quadruple, or times 10 the amount of money you're using on the tractor that is doing that. It increases productivity. Last year in a project that I was privileged to be part of, a 200 hectare maize farm in Kefi, in Kawo community in Nasarawa State, Kefi in Nasarawa State. We were using harvesters. We used combined harvesters to harvest the maize, because there was over in the whole 200 hectares, we did about 180 hectares of maize, and combined harvesters was used to harvest the maize, and in less than 1 week we were able to harvest the whole 180 hectares. That is something that would have taken about a month to harvest using hands. So productivity increased productivity is not a side benefit, it's not a side product, it is a direct product. When you incorporate technology into your farming practices, you increase productivity. Another example of by the time we begin to use technological data keeping, data acquisition, data recording, and you use technological tools, you find out that you have more accurate data. You are able to tell what quantity of fertilizer did you use this year? What number of labor did you use this year? How much did you spend on labor? How much did you spend on inputs? How much did you spend on fuel? All this is achievable by using data, by using technology to store your data. Most times by the time you use manual, maybe handwritten, there is issue of mutilation, there is issue of it being torn, but by the time you use your phone, you use a proper farm management app like the Farm app. We'll talk more on the Farm app in a subsequent edition. Farm are one of the sponsors of the Nigeria Farmers Town Hall Summit, and they are a farm management app that helps you take inventory and keeps proper record, and also link up with, if you at all, investors that are investing in your farm, to see the activities, the daily activities and daily expenses, face-by-face expenses that are going on in your farm. So we cannot talk much more. We cannot overemphasize the benefit of increased productivity by incorporating technology into agriculture. Of course, market access. Our technology, agro-commerce, agro-commodity marketers have come and changed the ball game. Before, if you were a farmer in, for example, Kubwa, the highest you can sell to is people in Gwarimpa. That is like 100-mile radius of your environment. But today, people are staying in community A and selling to community Z. That is over 1 million kilometers, 1 million miles away from each other. Because of technology, people are staying on their phones, on social media, on digital media to advertise their farm produce. So if you're not incorporating technology into marketing your products, you would lose a whole lot. So market access, you're able to go beyond. If the people in your community are pricing your goods at a very low rate, and you know the quality, you know the energy you have put into producing your farm produce, you will find out that with technology, you can get a wider range of market. So it is important to know that technology is useful in terms of market access. Youth engagement. Some of us are complaining, some farmers are complaining, we don't have labor, we don't have people to work in our farms. It is because you're still employing crude methods. It's because you're still looking for people to use hoe and shovel to farm. The moment you begin to incorporate technology, if you are using technological implements, if you're using advanced implements in your farm, it is the youths that will be looking for you, because youths of nowadays, the youths of this generation, are more comfortable with appealing and with smarter way of working than harder way of working. So you have to incorporate that into your farm. It is important by the time a farm manager is coming to your farm and he has a software to work with, a farm management software to work with, he has a laptop to work with, if possible he has a drone to work with, or he has some farming equipment, some tilling and drilling equipment that he can work with. He is able to project and do accurate projection that if we buy diesel at this quantity, we get one driver and he drives this farm, we'll be able to do our work for 5 days or for 1 day, and you will get more young people interested in your farm. Of course, we are going to be seeing this live in action in our food safety field day and farm tour that we are having on the 26th of June as part of our activities to commemorate the World Food Safety Day. We are going to be visiting CSS Farms. CSS Farms is one of the most automated and mechanized farms in Nigeria. CSS Farms is not in Israel. This farm is not in Korea. It is here in Nigeria along the Abuja-Kefi Expressway. And we will be visiting that farm and having a first-hand inspection, a first-hand excursion tour around the farm and seeing for ourselves the practical way which automation, which mechanization, which technology can do. So if you'd love to, you can still register. Visit our social media at GSA Initiative on Facebook, on IG. Scroll through the post. You will see the post where you can register to be part of the Farm Safety Field Day and Farm Tour. So Food Safety Field Day and Farm Tour happening on the 26th of June. We are visiting CSS Farms. It is going to be an explosive way, and we are going to practically see the benefit of technology in agriculture and how it has helped to promote and improve that farm. All right, so yes, you will have more young people coming to there. You will have more young people coming, and of course, sustainability. You know, sustainability refers to your ability to keep something going for as long as possible. The sustainability means that you have something that you keep regenerating, keep producing without end in sight. Basically, in layman terms, that is sustainability. And you find out that if we are continuously reliant on human labor, like for example, when COVID-19 came, there was a total shut, there was lockdown, and there was reduced availability of human labor. And if something like that happens again, if all humans say they don't want to work again, like everybody is pursuing money and then it happens, everybody now has an option. We will not be able to produce food. So it is important we begin to bring technology, automation into the system, which will have less reliance on human factors. So whether there is COVID, whether it is raining, whether there is cold, there are extreme temperatures, technology are not affected by these things. Technology keeps on working. Technology keeps on producing. Technology keeps on moving. And you find out that we are able to continue producing sustainably. So basically, these are the benefits of incorporating technology into agriculture. So let's just quickly, before we round up for today's episode, let's quickly talk about some of the technology that can be brought into agriculture. We want to talk about first and foremost precision agriculture using data, working with data-backed agriculture. And precision agriculture uses advanced tools such as drones, GPS technology, sensors. So it monitors crops and it takes every single decision in agriculture based on the data gotten from monitoring. You do not just apply fertilizer because it is time to apply fertilizer. You make sure you understand what quantity of fertilizer is needed. So the soil you have planted, what is the nutrient component of that soil? If it is lacking in nitrogen, then you only supplement nitrogen. If it is lacking in sulfur, if it is lacking in potassium, if it is lacking in magnesium, these are all macro and micro elements needed for plant growth. You now supplement with that. Even in animal rearing, you supplement based on the nutrients, just like in humans. You do not just wake up and say, we need to take drugs today because it has taken long, we've not taken drugs. You give drugs based on the problems, based on the sickness, based on the diseases. So is it in farming. Precision agriculture, where every decision is taken based on data, based on the particular need of that particular time. So you use drones, you use GPS technology, even water is applied to precision. You do not just spray. The traditional method is us spraying water, watering our farm, and then in the process we have a whole lot of waste. But in precision agriculture, we ensure that we give the exact dosage, the exact amount, we reduce wastage, we reduce unnecessary labor. We also talk about climate smart agriculture. Of course, in Nigeria now, there is this very, very opposite trend that is happening. We are having floods in Benue State, and we are having drought in Nasarawa State. We are having floods in Bayelsa, and we are having drought in lack of rain in Abuja, for instance. So you have to begin to adapt climate smart practices like mulching. If you are in an environment where there is no much rainfall, where the soil is not wet, you ensure that you mulch your ground to reduce the amount of water that leaves the ground. You ensure, so climate smart agriculture are part of technology that you bring into agriculture. So we're talking about integrated techniques to mitigate the effect of climate, like drip irrigation, weather forecasting apps. You know when to plant, you know when to water, when to plant and do intensive watering using weather forecasting apps. So those are basically the two technology that we'll be highlighting today. In a subsequent edition, we'll be highlighting other technological advances that you can incorporate into your farming. I hope you are farming, right? Even if you do not have a big farm, I hope you have a small farm, a small garden in your backyard. Technology has come into place where you can even use sacks to plant potatoes, to plant yams and other things. So it is important that you begin to farm and you incorporate this tiniest technology into your farm. That is all we'll be taking on agriculture for today and tomorrow, hoping that we have highlighted a smart solution where you can get a greener harvest. Remember to follow us on all our social media, to follow the conversation, to stay updated. And also remember, the Nigeria Farmers Town Hall Summit is about 2 weeks away. In fact, less than 2 weeks away. Have you registered to be part of it, whether virtually or physically? It is going to be an exciting and explosive moment. The first time farmers are going to be coming together to discuss critical issues around farm food safety and how to ensure that Nigerian agricultural produce are fit for market, both domestically and globally. And of course, we are also going to be going on the Food Safety Field Day and Farm Tour on the 26th of June at CSS Farms. It would be a wonderful experience if you could join us. Go on our social media and of course you will get to see more information. But if you are not able to go on social media, you can also contact us through our contact number. I'll drop my contact number, 0806 768 9795. 0806 768 9795. That's a number you can call and get more information about the Food Safety Field Day and the Nigeria Farmers Town Hall Summit. Hope to see you as you join us to ensure that Africa is food secure. See you in the next episode.
In the heart of our fields lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions.